Hi, first of all, I want to say sorry for the video quality. I would have done a screen capture on my computer, but I have only 8 megabytes of storage, so that wouldn't work out too well. I'm gonna scroll through the code real quick, just to get that done. I'm gonna explain it later, but there's that. This is for my shoebox design, this little thing. So let me explain the circuit. Up here, first, I have all of the inputs. So this is a distance sensor. I'm having that represent the infrared beam that senses the shoes. And then I have 2 temperature sensors in the Arduino, but these are representing humidity for one of them and temperature for the other because there's no humidity sensor. Let's see, then this is the switch. This is what will be detected when the door opens or closes. Then over here, this would be the output, this section. So I'm having the gear motor be the fan. This LED is the UV light. This LED is the heating coil. So let's start the simulation quick and just show that it works. By default, it would be on. Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, I just had to take out some delays in my code so that you can see it properly working. Let's go back to everything being off. So I'm closing the door and putting shoes in, and that's going to be detected by the distance sensor with inches. It's less than 10, showing that there's shoes in there. And now the entire system turns on. The UV light, the heating coil, and the fan. Now, the whole system is run off of humidity. Once the humidity is low enough, the system will stop running. So that is shown there. I do have delays built in here. I took them out for the purpose of the video, though. So let's get that back running. I also have a system in here. If it gets too hot, the light turns off, the heating coil, that is, and then it would turn back on if the temperature lowers enough. So the code, let's get through this quickly. First up here is just initializing variables and setting pins. Then it checks if the pin, or if the slide is closed. So if the door is closed, then it runs through everything. If it is open, it just shuts everything off, and that's that. So here's a variable in here that I set at the end when the shoes are dry. So if that is not true, then the shoes aren't dry and the door is closed. So then it determines the distance. So if the shoes are there, and then this is just math to figure out the inches. And then I find the humidity and temperature. I just use the same math for both just for the purposes of this. So it's both just technically Celsius, but that's okay. And then I do some if loops here. This one checks for shoes and the humidity level. And as long as the humidity level is above 20, this will continue to run. This determines if the heating coil is on or off, and it sets everything, or the light and the fan, to be on as well. And then in here I have a delay so that it only runs every 5 minutes. And then it checks the humidity levels and the temperature levels again. And then once the humidity level reaches below 20, that signals that the shoes are dry. So I set that variable to true. Then I turn off the heat LED first, or the heating coil. And then I have another delay in here that I commented out just for the purposes of recording this. And then I turn everything else off. Then down here is another thing, just if the shoes are not present, then nothing runs and everything is off. And it also sets the variable to true so that it doesn't have to run through this if the door is closed and there's no shoes present.